Tonight we're learning new information about a man who was getting his hair cut at a salon when he was shot and killed. Arlington police are calling it a murder-suicide. And Scoop Jefferson just spoke with people who witnessed the shooting on Cooper Street.
This is the moment Arlington police officers arrived at the front doors of the Spa Galleria strip mall on shots fired, recorded on a cell phone. Just after 10 a.m. Friday, police say a 37-year-old woman walked into the South Cooper Street location with a gun and opened fire on a man she had been dating as he got a haircut.
He was a rising star and credit expert who helped others rebuild their financial futures. But on a quiet summer morning in Arlington, Texas, Todd Austin's future was cut tragically short in one of the most disturbing public acts of violence the city had seen. Sitting in a salon chair midway through a simple haircut, he never saw it coming. The woman who pulled the trigger wasn't a stranger. She was someone he once trusted, someone he once loved. In the space of seconds, the sound of gunfire replaced the buzz of clippers, and a scene of everyday routine turned into a nightmare of blood, screaming, and silence. What started as an ordinary day would end in irrevocable loss, not just for Todd Austin, but for his child, his loved ones, and a shocked community asking the same question: why? On July 11, 2025, emergency services were called to the Salon and Spa Galleria in Arlington to the report of a shooting. Inside, police found two bodies, one already gone, the other clinging to life. It wasn't a robbery. It wasn't a random attack. This was personal. Todd Austin, 37, the CEO of Credit Champs, was pronounced dead at the scene. The shooter was his ex-girlfriend, Timone Williams, who later died at the hospital from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The incident was quickly labeled a murder-suicide. The news stunned the city.
We're bringing you an update on breaking news we told you about earlier. 2 people are dead after a shooting in Arlington. This happened on South Cooper Street just after 10 this morning. Police say when officers arrived, they found a man shot. He died at the scene. Officers also found the suspected shooter injured. Police believe she shot herself. The woman was taken to the hospital where she died.
Todd was a well-known name in Texas business circles. He had dedicated his life to helping others, fixing credit, offering mentorship, and uplifting families through financial education. But now, the man who helped people rebuild their lives was gone, his own life shattered by someone who once shared it. Behind the public image of success and optimism lay a relationship unraveling, and the subtle signs pointed toward heartbreak, resentment, and emotional instability. This isn't just a story about a crime. It's a story about the cracks beneath the surface of a picture-perfect life, and what happens when the pain goes unchecked. Todd wasn't born into wealth or influence. He built everything he had. As the founder of Credit Champs, a credit repair and financial mentoring company, Todd had made it his mission to help people get back on their feet. Whether through public speaking engagements, social media content, or one-on-one consultations, he was admired for his profound knowledge, charisma, and drive to make a positive impact. Videos from his workshops show a man confident in his craft, always teaching, always smiling. He inspired countless clients, many of whom say they'd still be drowning in debt if it weren't for his guidance. But if you ask Todd about his proudest title, it wasn't CEO, it was Dad. Todd shared a daughter with his former partner, Timone Williams. Their relationship had once held promise, but over time, it fell apart. While the two continued to co-parent, sources close to the family said the separation wasn't peaceful. Friends and acquaintances described Timone as quiet and private, someone who kept to herself and often seemed emotionally burdened. At 34, Timone was trying to redefine her identity outside of her relationship with Todd. Some believe she still loved him. Others believe she felt left behind like an invisible footnote to his rising success. There were no public fights, no social media spats, no police report, but there were rumors and hushed conversations about emotional strain, about resentment bubbling below the surface. Those close to Todd said he was doing his best balancing fatherhood, business, and a complex co-parenting situation. But in the shadows of that balance, something darker was taking shape, something nobody around them fully grasped, until it was too late. On July 11, 2025, a warm, uneventful Friday morning, Todd had a haircut scheduled at one of his usual spots, Salon and Spa Galleria, located in a popular Arlington shopping plaza. Surveillance cameras later showed him walking in, dressed casually, smiling, and holding his phone. It was routine. He had no idea it would be his final appointment. He took a seat in the chair just before 10 a.m. Stylists moved about the room. Conversations buzzed. The soft snip of scissors filled the space. Then, just minutes later, Timona Williams entered the salon. According to witnesses, she didn't yell. She didn't argue. She simply walked toward Todd, pulled a firearm from her purse, and fired multiple rounds into his chest. Panic erupted. People screamed and scrambled to hide. One client dropped to the floor in a state of shock. Another ran barefoot into the street to find help. Someone dialed 911, voice trembling. "Oh my God, she shot him, please, he's not moving." Todd was slumped in the chair, blood spilling onto the floor. As patrons fled and stylists ducked behind counters, Timone stood there for a brief, eerie moment, then turned the gun on herself. Police arrived within minutes. Inside, they found Todd unresponsive and pronounced dead at the scene. Timone was still breathing but unconscious. She was rushed to a nearby hospital, where she died hours later. 2 lives ended that morning. But the impact of their deaths had only just begun. A little girl was now without both of her parents. A business lost its founder, a community lost a leader, and everyone who knew them was left stunned, trying to piece together a tragedy that unfolded in the span of just a few minutes. In the immediate aftermath of the shooting, Arlington police began working through a chaotic and heart-wrenching scene. The salon was cordoned off with yellow crime scene tape, shattered glass sparkled on the floor, and shell casings were carefully marked in bright yellow evidence tents. Detectives arrived not just to document a crime, but to understand how 2 people's lives unraveled so catastrophically. Eyewitnesses were shaken, many still trembling as they gave statements. Most described the same haunting details: how Timone had entered calmly, how there had been no shouting or confrontation, and how the shooting happened in eerie silence. It was methodical, intentional, chilling. Todd had been shot multiple times in the upper torso. The angle of the wounds and surveillance footage confirmed that he never had a chance to defend himself. The firearm was registered to Timone, and the motive investigators believed was rooted in emotional distress and unresolved personal conflict. But this wasn't just about a relationship gone wrong. Detectives looked deeper. They combed through text messages, phone records, and social media accounts. What they found was a pattern of emotional volatility on Timone's side. She had recently posted cryptic messages about betrayal and heartbreak. One post, weeks before the incident, read, "People think they can just replace you and move on like you never mattered. There were no restraining orders on file, no official warnings. Yet some close friends admitted that Timone had confided in them about feeling abandoned, invisible, and overwhelmed. One anonymous source told investigators, "She kept saying she didn't want to feel like just another ex, that she deserved more. I thought she was just venting. I never imagined this." Police ruled the case a murder-suicide. There would be no trial, no cross-examinations, and no chance for either side to explain what led up to that final moment. For Todd's family, friends, and community, that absence of closure only deepened the grief. With the case closed, the focus shifted from prosecution to prevention. Todd's loved ones were left to manage the legal and emotional consequences of a crime that had no surviving perpetrator. Custody of the couple's child became a top priority. Family members on both sides stepped in, navigating grief while trying to protect a little girl who had lost both her parents in minutes. There was no courtroom footage to show, no sentencing to witness. But the fallout was just as heavy. Todd's business, Credit Champs, temporarily shut down. His clients, many of whom regarded him as a mentor and friend, mourned not just the loss of a leader, but also a man who had helped lift them out of hardship. Timone's family also struggled. While the act she committed was unforgivable in the public eye, they remembered her as more than her final moment. A woman in pain, a mother who lost her way. They grieved too silently and separately, aware that anything they said would be scrutinized and likely unwelcome. In the days following the murder-suicide, the community was left reeling. The story of Todd Austin's death made headlines across Texas and beyond, not just because of how he died, but because of who he was. Tributes poured in online from former clients and peers, many of whom recalled how Todd had helped them transform their lives. But amid the digital outpouring, a more profound silence lingered offline, one filled with unanswered questions and a painful sense of finality. Timone Williams left behind no manifesto, no explanation, just a void. Her actions stole not only Todd's life, but her own, leaving behind a daughter who would now grow up without either parent. This wasn't just a tragedy, it was a warning, a reminder that emotional distress can fester quietly, that a smiling face, a peaceful co-parenting exchange, or the absence of police reports doesn't always mean everything is okay. Sometimes the danger is hidden until it isn't. Todd Austin's life was built around giving others a second chance. He believed in rebuilding whether it was someone's credit score or someone's confidence. In the end, what happened to him wasn't just a tragedy. It was a brutal reminder that unresolved pain, when ignored, can become a ticking time bomb. If you or someone you know is struggling in a relationship marked by emotional instability, manipulation, or mental health concerns, please don't wait. Speak up, reach out, ask questions. The signs might be subtle, but the consequences can be devastating. Sometimes the person who needs help the most is the one who seems the quietest. Thank you for watching this episode to the end. Please share your thoughts about this tragic story in the comments below. If you are new to the channel and like content like this, please subscribe to the channel for upcoming episodes. Please be sure to check out this next video. Stay safe, and I will see you on the next episode.